commission was itself getting organized, there was a congressman from New England who obtained some photographs of beheaded, aborted fetuses. And he circulated those pictures, dreadful, awful pictures, to every member of the Congress, both the Senate and the House, with a letter that accused NIH of funding the research that was both encouraging abortions at different stages in the development of the fetus, and then studying the fetus after removal from the uterus. And so this caused an uproar in Congress. We got floods of letters. The news carried this story over and over and over again. NIH was befuddled. We could find no research that we were funding that was even remotely similar to this. But finally we found that a graduate student from somewhere in New England had traveled to Finland, and there he found a laboratory where there was a man not NIH money or American money, but he was conducting this research. And the student was pretty horrified, but he took pictures of these tiny fetal heads mounted on stakes and circulated them everywhere. So the Congress immediately acted, and it said until the commission could address the question of what fetal research might be allowed or not allowed, NIH could fund no research of any kind dealing with pregnancy, with the development of the fetus, and not even early childhood. So that was the first crisis that was presented to the commission. And so it seemed logical then that Charlie Lowe, who was the senior scientist in the Center for Child Health and Human Development, should be the first staff director. It didn't work out that way. Charlie had strong ideas of what the commission should do and not do, and he made no bones about telling the commissioners what they should say or what they should write or what they should declare. And the commissioners were not very passive people. Consequently, they rebelled, and after about 3 months, Charlie Lowe was removed. I think it was the secretary himself. No one ever said who actually fired him, but he was suddenly absent from the commission meetings. But those first months were spent almost entirely in debates about what research is or is not permissible involving the human fetus. It's interesting that fetal research has gone forward in most of the institutions in the country, but NIH is still forbidden to do research involving the human fetus. And perhaps that's a good thing, because fetal research associated with the abortion question and all of those public issues is so controversial. I think NIH would be embroiled in controversy all the time. This way they can say, we don't fund and we don't conduct fetal research, and they look at almost every other health issue. And consequently, I think, although I wouldn't have designed it that way, looking back in history, I think it was a good thing that NIH was prevented from doing that, and obviously lots of other institutions have done fetal research, so it's not a field that's neglected. In any case, the first report then that the commission put out was a report on fetal research. And there was a doctor who had actually cared for the Kennedy girl who herself was retarded. And I think it prompted Senator Kennedy's interest in creating the commission by law. And so it was probably his influence that, and I'm blocking on that man's name, but maybe it'll come to me before we're done. But he wrote a good part of the report on fetal research. And so the very first regulations that our office, the Office for Protection from Research Risks, actually wrote was in response to the Commission's report on fetal research. And as I look back, I can see both shortcomings in the way the Commission was functioning. It was getting used to functioning, and they allowed one or two people to dominate the discussion. And our own office had never written regulations before. So the very first regulations we wrote were based on a flawed report of the National Commission. And I think that regulation has been revised more times perhaps than any other part of the Federal Register regulations. So that's how the Commission got off to a somewhat rocky start.